that. Do you have a name in your head for this person that you'd be willing to share?
I don't. I can certainly start thinking about that.
We'll come up with one for season 2.
There we go.
Or it could
Audience,
be.
what is the therapist's name?
That's right. Like, name the therapist. That could be a thing.
Yeah.
Who is she?
Let us know who you think she is.
And it might end up being like, wouldn't that be cool if I ended up kind of being like the world's therapist? Like she's just a therapist.
Hi everyone, this is Josh Manlin, co-creator of Animal Warmth. I'm here with Kirsten.
Co-creator of Animal Warmth.
And Leta, one of our stars of the show.
Hi.
And Bodhi. So Leta, you're in the show a lot, but what a lot of people won't know is that we actually filmed everything involving you over the course of 2 days.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that was like?
Well, it's crazy because, it's not that uncommon in film to film things out of order or out of sequence, so that's not a complete newsflash, but it was just this fairly long relationship was condensed. So it was like, we would have an outfit and we'd film the scenes and this is what happened at this session. And then change your clothes. Okay, so this will be like a week later. So this will, okay. And then film that and change your clothes. Okay, so this will be like 3-4 weeks. So you're trying to create this relationship that's deepening and, getting more and more comfortable with each other and this and that. But then when the therapy session starts, there needs to be this sense of calm, because there's a lot of silence with Jenna and you want to have this feeling that it's all good, even though it's like, okay, quick, now let's see, we gotta try so we can get day 6. Okay, what should I wear for day 6? I gotta make my hair look different, gotta make my makeup look different, because this is like supposed to be 3 weeks later, Is this the same young woman you mentioned before?
From the technical side of things, the way that we did that was we utilized a lot of 2-camera setups. So literally we'd have like one camera here doing the tight close-up shot, and one kind of right on top of it doing the wide shot. So that helps with a few things. A, you're speeding up your time, and B, you're getting the same performance, so you don't have to do it 32,000 times.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
It's really helpful. It's really helpful because, you want to be authentic, and especially as a therapist, I want my reactions to feel genuine. And the more times you have to do it, just the more times it can start to feel kind of rehearsed and less spontaneous. And obviously, that's part of being a good actor, is being able to continue to find that moment again and do it. So I'm not saying that that's not a thing that should happen, but it is nice when you can do it in a way to where when you really nail a moment, that you don't have to try to recreate that exact thing again, that moment was captured and you can move on, especially when you're trying to cover a lot of ground. Also, some of the technical things, like I remember is changing the space a little bit.
Oh gosh, we had to move. So there was this giant the glass table you saw.
It's heavy.
It's heavy and awkward, and we had to move it all the time. And so that was a challenge from our perspective.
I'm just like being finicky about where should we put the Kleenex box today?
Yeah, because that's the,
or the stress balls. You'll notice the stress balls can't
and
always
the blanket
be in the same
and the
place.
pillow, it's like, and when I was looking at the chair, I was like, there will have been a week's worth of clients who've come and gone through this room before our next session, so it shouldn't look exactly the same every time she comes in.
Exactly, and just script-wise, there were picture changes. Like at one point, we have a picture on the wall, and then she gets a new one, and we can't have it be the same one if it's a new one.
You got another still life.
Yep. Another gift.
Could you talk a little bit about the space, and as a cinematographer, Kirsten, what we had to do to film in, that is, by the way, a tiny room, which is not ideal. So what did we have to do to make that work?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, you'd want to be on a stage, sound stage, and be able to put the lights behind the walls and point them in there. We obviously didn't have that flexibility, so we're shooting in an actual therapist's office, and it was a very small room. We looked at smaller rooms, and so this is the biggest one that we could find. So we really had to like shove all these lights and the whole crew and the cast into this little room and make it look like it was just the two of you guys sitting there. And then the audio too, we had a lot of reflective, we had a mirror, we had reflective pictures. that was a bit of a challenge. So I'll stop talking about that because that's for nerds. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Suffice it to say.
it was a fun challenge.
Yeah, it's always fun and creative when you know that, from the person who's watching it, it looks like a room with two people, but they don't know that just an inch away was the sound person who was like, hovering over, and that behind that ficus tree is actually the cord leading up to the light that's hanging from the ceiling.
And the director.
Yeah.
Episode 1, Scene 1, Shot C, Take 2.
Action.
Yeah, that's the fun of it, right? I mean,
Now,
is.
is that difficult as a performer to? Because in theater you've got a whole room full of people, right? And then they're kind of sort of farther away, and I imagine it's dark. And then in film you've got like 4 people staring at you, and they're really close to you. Is that challenging, or? I mean, you've been doing this a long time, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it used to be.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hi, Bodie. That was part of why it took me a while to get into acting in the first place, was because there's more of a vulnerability involved, and you have to kind of try things out in front of people. Jenna, there's no reason to beat yourself up over this. You're doing fine. Or, just whatever.
Right.
Like, once I finally got comfortable just being and not being self-conscious about the fact that people were going to be watching me, then it didn't become so weird. And then it can become like a source of support, because there's other people who can kind of validate, like, there's something really meaningful, like the last scene that we filmed, and it felt very emotional to me. I mean, I felt very emotional in it. And there's something really rewarding where you get the cut and everybody in the room is like, and then it almost has that kind of theater component, because the other people who were there were in that moment too, and you can tell if they felt it, or they're the minute you hear cut, you hear the sound person go, "That was good," or I mean, so there's a camaraderie about it. I mean, I knew from the minute we did that read through, I knew what my little scenes were like from the auditions, but the minute we actually did the table read where I got to hear what else was happening in the story, I just felt like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And then the filming of it felt good. It was like, okay, this, and then just the excitement of waiting to finally see the episode, because I've been in plenty of projects that seem like they should be good, and then somewhere in the editing world, it falls apart, and you see the finished product, and it's just like, what happened? So when I actually saw episode 1, I mean, it was just like, like, it's so good, it's so good. I think you're overreacting to the situation.
Well, we really appreciate you being part of the project, and as usual, you're awesome to work with, very professional, and it's great. And thanks to you guys for watching. We really appreciate it as well, and we hope too that we can make a season 2. So
We'll see you soon.
we'll see you then.